Hello, this is the tradesight Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, April 13th, 2014, and ending Friday, April 18th, 2014. Hope you're having a good trading week. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart as we always start. We've been in this really awful range since back in October. We're still at that same price level. It's been a 2-point range on the dollar index. And maybe potentially finally some signs of life ahead, which would be really good for Forex trading. As you can see this red static trend line, we're approaching it again. And just below that, the recent lows at 79. We're heading down that way. If we can crack that level once and for all, it would be a little more interesting, I think, for Forex. Hopefully expand the ranges out and get us moving again. But so far, we're not quite there. We've been here once before, just a month ago, so we can't count our chickens before they've hatched. Here's a look at the euro dollar. Got a little bounce this week off of its static trend line, which has not completely broken yet, but the ranges were not great, as you'll see when we get to the intraday stuff. Here's a look at the pound dollar. Potential breakout. This would be a big 5-star breakout play over the highs. This would be very bullish. And again, this may go first. This move up here is the same as the dollar index breaking down, so this may lead the dollar index. We'll be watching the breakout over the highs on the daily chart of the pound dollar. Here's a look at the Aussie. Nice cup forming here. Pretty interesting. Here's a look at the New Zealand. Now check this out. On the Comer, New Zealand's got a 13 sell signal potentially in place if it makes a new high. That's kind of contradictory to what we're seeing in the dollar index otherwise. Pound yen also setting up a nice bullish formation. So the pound itself looks stronger. The US dollar currently looks weaker. Let's look at the intraday action from this week. Here's the pound yen. This one had about 200 pips of range, which isn't very exciting for the pound yen itself. I wouldn't get all excited about that. Here's a look at the euro dollar interweek. Now this did have a climb, a steady climb, but even with this, it's 200 pips of range for the entire week from the high to the low, which is from the open to the end. That's not very good total action on the euro dollar. Again, we like to see 130 pips of range per day on average, not 200 per week, but it was a consistent move at least. And here's a look at that pound, which is setting up for that potential daily chart breakout. Came back a bit. This one was a lot less interesting. Total range for the week was higher than the euro, 240 pips, but you got this big move Tuesday. Look how flat all day Wednesday, one news spike, dead flat, little drop back. I mean, really, at the end of the week here, you're looking at a 60 to 70 pip range for 80% of the week. That's horrible, horrible price action. Here's a look at the Aussie dollar. And not much to say there either. So we've got, in general, limited ranges still, half size for all of our trade calls, and we will see what we can get for this week moving forward. Now, what does the new week have in store for us? Well, one of the things is this is going to be options expiration. For April, we're starting core earnings. None of those are massively important to the Forex market, but they do have an impact. Let's be aware of that. Options expiration in particular. And we have a short week this week. Friday is a U.S. bank holiday, so we've only got calls Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Nothing Thursday night. We resume the following Sunday, which is Easter Sunday. So let's go through the economic data that's coming out this week. We have FOMC member Stein speaking. This is a Sunday thing. China's got new loans and money supply. Industrial production out of Europe. This gets us all the way to Monday morning already, where we've got retail sales and business inventories out of the U.S. Another speech from a Fed member. Retail sales out of the U.K. Monday night. The monetary policy meeting minutes out of Australia from their last meeting Monday night. Going into Tuesday, Switzerland's PPI, the UK's CPI, PPI, and RPI all at once. Trade balance out of Europe. The broad European trade balance right there, along with zoo economic sentiment. Canada's manufacturing sales. Tuesday morning here in the U.S., CPI, that's one of our big three each month, so we'll be half size ahead of that. Empire State Manufacturing Index. Fed Chair Yellen speaking. We've got the TIC long-term purchases at 9 a.m. The NAHB Housing Market Index. Another Fed member speaking. New Zealand CPI that night. MI leading index out of Australia. And then China does a data dump. GDP for the first quarter, industrial production, fixed asset investment, the MBS press conference, retail sales, and foreign direct investment. Leads us into Wednesday, where we have revised industrial production out of Japan, Italian trade balance, unemployment rate out of the UK, CPI out of Europe, German 10-year bond auction, and another Fed member speaking at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Housing starts and building permits here in the U.S. Capacity utilization and industrial production here in the U.S. Not a big deal for Forex. Bank of Canada, their rate announcement on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Crude oil inventories here out of the U.S. Yellen speaking again. Fisher speaking. Beige book at 2 p.m. Wednesday. Japan's got a couple of speeches as well, and the new motor vehicle sales out of Australia. Consumer confidence out of Japan at 1 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. German PPI and current account that night. CPI out of Canada, we already had ours. Unemployment claims, that's the weekly number out of the U.S. Thursday morning, and then Philly Fed. Bank holiday out of New Zealand and Australia going into Friday, as is the rest of the world. So we've all on bank holiday, including the U.S. on Friday. So markets are closed for the Good Friday celebration ahead of Easter. That'll be it. We'll just be doing this 4 days this week, and the big day for data. There's a couple of big data points, but the CPI is probably the biggest one coming out of the U.S. Tuesday will be less than half size ahead of that. We remain half size due to all of the light action that we see in the Forex market. This is the longest at TradeSight we've ever been half size, but the market's not earning better from us than that, so we'll stick with it. Everybody have a great trading week. We'll be here making calls for you and helping you out in the trading lab at TradeSight. Hope you have a great one.